Now, as a coach or educational creator, there is one recording style that can absolutely blow up your business. And obviously that recording style, the one that people have gotten to know most and that we see many people doing out there, is talking head videos. Talking head videos like this. But they have evolved in 2025, and how people use talking head now and how they actually coach directly with this has evolved. Now, talking head is a fantastic way to build connection with your audience, build trust, and to make it about you and them without too many distractions. But let's talk about how it's evolved and what the changes are that I've seen come to this strategy. Because talking head now really is many different types of formats. Now, for example, if we check out Ali Abdaal, he has always done some form of talking head videos with B-roll. Now, obviously, the production is very high, but it's always him talking to the camera in some way, shape, or form, and it's generally semi-close up. It's got at least his torso inside. And then there's some B-roll, but he's generally just talking on the topic. So we could almost say that this is kind of classic talking head videos. Then we have Bald Cafe. Now, this is a more laid back, it's more conversational type of video. It's a lot less in terms of production, lower production levels. So I'm going to be talking about these styles, how you can use them, and how you can potentially improve your recordings later on. But I want to show you the full spectrum of different ways people are using this. So Bald Cafe, it's about helping men shave their head, come to the decision of shaving their head because they're going bald. Now, his videos go from vloggy style to interview videos. Again, talking head style, but with interviews, very basic, almost just Zoom videos. Then he's got ones of him where he's just talking inside, talking to the camera, often next to a mirror, sometimes next to a whiteboard. But again, just classic talking head. But sometimes it's walking talk, and sometimes it's car talk, sometimes it's desk talk, sometimes it's interview. So it's a mixed format of talking head, sharing value. But again, the production level doesn't necessarily matter. And I'm going to get to the reason for this very soon. Then we've got other ones. We've got more highly polished production here from Bedros. Now, Bedros is a multi-millionaire coach for the fitness industry. And he, again, most of his videos are either him talking head, but again, walking now. So people are outside more. So it's not just the studio setup. So I'm going to get to the things that are important very soon, but there's more flexibility to it now. So it can be a little bit vloggy almost, but there are things that you want to think about if you're a coach especially. So again, high production, but all generally talking head and close-ups. We've got Emma, a member of ours inside our community. She does walking and talking. So when she's walking out, she's talking on particular topics. For the most part, that's nearly all of her videos are her out walking a dog, but talking about certain fitness topics for her particular niche audience. So again, very straightforward videos, but you see generally there's no one behind her. There's not too many distractions. And that's what we'll get to very soon. Got Charlie Morgan, obviously multi-millionaire. He teaches with whiteboards. He does very straightforward videos, often with whiteboards or screen recording. But again, not very much difference, very straightforward. In fact, his videos are incredibly basic compared to some other people, especially for the fact that he's making many millions of dollars each and every month. So production level, incredibly low. I guess he's barely got an editor. Then we've got a new and up and coming kind of vloggy style of channel, Connor Woodman, where he is basically literally gone out into the forest and he's put a tripod up and he just speaks to the camera. And I'm seeing a lot of people even in the business space doing this now, where they just go out on nature walks, they find a spot and they talk with a pretty background behind them. And it's just something different. But it means that you don't have to set up a studio and you don't have to have a studio for doing this. So you have a degree of flexibility. And then we've got Daya. She follows slides for her videos, but it's all talking head, sitting literally, I think, in front or on her sofa. And that is it. So you could literally be recording your videos from your sofa, out on a walk, sitting outside, sitting in your car, or sitting in a studio setup or a desk setup like this. But the main thing we need to understand is, other than the benefit of this, is that there's trust and connection between the two of you, between you and your audience, because there's more of a close up. They're kind of focused on you. So I'd say that's an important feature of this strategy, of the talking head strategy, but making sure that it's close to you, is focusing on you and your message with not too many distractions. So we saw in all of those videos, for the most part, there's no people behind them. So it's can be vloggy style, but we don't want too many distractions. So if you're outside, you don't really want to be in a busy, crowded area, or I'm going to be too busy looking at what's happening in the background. So in terms of conversions, I see talking head videos working much better for you as a coach and doing your sort of educational business. But we need to make sure that there's not too much going on outside. But the benefit is these days, especially with people craving more real, they want more connection, they want more authentic, then we're allowed to be a bit more flexible with it. We don't necessarily have to be really high production. We don't have to be inside, but there are foundational things that we need to be getting right. And these foundational things are almost the 4 key parts to creating any type of educational video, I would say. Now, obviously, you can do higher production videos where there's more B-rolls and it's different scenes, but they feel more like a show. And again, they can be quite distracting. So it's almost more storytelling, those, for building a brand. But in terms of education and coaching, we want it to be more of just us two. So therefore, there are 4 things that we need to be looking at and trying to improve. The first one is presentation. So what is our presentation ability? Now, if you're just getting started, chances are it's not very good. So you're going to be wanting to create a lot of videos or even practicing talking to the camera with you recording, but maybe not uploading the videos. So you can get more comfortable talking on camera, making sure that you're getting used to trying to relax and breathe, centering yourself, thinking about what you're going to say, relaxing your shoulders, and just speaking to the camera like you're speaking to a friend. And get used to the speed, going faster when it's important and then slower when it's not. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just try and think about speaking to a normal human being. And then you can work on the speeds and other things. But if you find yourself not breathing properly, which is sometimes I start to speak too quickly, and maybe my breathing goes a little bit erratic and I'm starting to do shorter breaths. So you want to look at your presentation ability. Now, I've created many, many thousands of videos by now. So my presentation ability, although I'm not natural on camera, it is something I don't really love doing, but I'm getting better at it all the time. So my presentation ability is a bit higher. But the question is, what is your presentation ability out of 10? So give yourself a 1 to 10. The next thing we want to look at is our communication skills. So how good are we at simplifying what we are talking about, using stories and examples? Could be simple, mundane stories where we relate it to what we're doing, or it could be stories about your clients, or it could be stories about your experiences. How good you are at communicating and simplifying. So your communication skills are another thing that we want to look at and grade out of 10. So what would you say in terms of communication is your grade? So how good are you at teaching? How good are you at getting the message across? And this also could be your language skills. Maybe you're not doing English as a first language. If your presentation is in English, then this is something you want to give yourself a grade out of. And don't worry too much. This is not like a test or whatever, but this is going to give you the knowledge to know what you need to improve to be able to get it to the minimal sort of level to make your videos passable. So the next one is, what is your production level? Production level is things like lighting. They are things like your camera quality, your mic quality, your editing skills. What are you doing? Thinking about the flow of the video, how the video will work, how you're recording it. What is the overall production level? Are you complete newbie, don't understand anything, have a phone and that's about it? Okay, give yourself a level. So what level is your overall production at? And then we have number 4 is, what is your authority level? So what is your authority level? And give yourself a 1 out of 10. And this is your credibility, how much weight your knowledge carries. Can people tell that you know what you're talking about? Do you have abundance of proof and skills? Do you convey authenticity? Sorry, not just authenticity, but do you carry authority with the way and the knowledge that you're sharing? So if you have an abundance of authority. So for example, Alex Hormozi has a huge amount of proof. He's just done 100 million book launch in a week. He's made millions of dollars. He's on school. He's the biggest guy on social media for business right now. He's literally posting more content than everybody else. He carries credibility in a number of different areas and a huge amount of proof. So the question is, how much authority and credibility and, let's say, authority do you carry? And give yourself a rating for that as well. And then we want to look at this as the whole. So the whole of this here being your video. So therefore, how can we make this whole video whole? Now, if your presentation skills are really strong and you have a lot of authority, but your production level is really weak, then it probably won't matter as much. Maybe your communication skills in terms of simplifying things down is small. Your production skills are small. But all of this is made up by these two here. In which case, you can get away with crappier production and maybe not worrying too much about your ability to convey information, because people know your authority, so they want to listen to you, and your ability to speak on camera is good, so you carry authority and you speak well. So in that case, you're going to get away with not having to improve the others. However, if you have less authority and your presentation skills are a little bit more beginner, you're going to have to work a bit harder at how you simplify things in a video. So think more about stories, think more about examples think more about graphics and things that you could use to simplify and communicate what you're trying to say in a better way. So maybe you're going to use slides, maybe you're going to use a bit more professional effort, should we say, behind what you're going to think a bit more about what you're going to do and how you're going to communicate it. And your production, you're maybe going to want to raise the bar there a little bit as well. So by that, we're going to be wanting to improve the lighting and other things, maybe our editing ever so slightly, just to give our video a little bit more polish so it looks a little bit more professional. So whatever we're lacking to make up the whole of the video, we maybe need to look at to improve. So let's speak about some simple ways that we can improve this. And the first one for me is a good light. Now, good lighting in general, you could be outside recording your video. For example, I have my Action 5. It's fantastic for me walking down the beach and being outside in the bright sunshine, as long as there's good lighting on my face. The moment I use it in the studio, I use it in the house, which I thought I was going to be able to use it more for, is useless because it can't focus on me. So therefore, it basically makes all of the exposure the same in the room. So everything feels very flat and dark. So in low light, it's crappy. But outside, it's great. And the camera that I'm using is literally just a webcam. It's a 4K webcam, but it's an old one. And honestly, I got better cameras before and stuff. And I just use this for the simplicity of it all, because the lighting is what makes the camera. You can get away with a crappier camera if you have a good lighting. And I literally just have a stand with a big sort of, I can't remember, they're called lantern lights, I feel. Some people recommend other types of lights, but I find them a bit aggressive. So the ones that cast the dark shadow with a sort of checkered cross things on them, whatever. I'm not professional with this. I don't know the names. But the lantern one I like because it's a softer light and it also lights the backup. So I only need one light. But also as a coach, you're going to want good lighting for your coaching calls as well. Whereas a soft lantern like this, I can actually have this on for hours and it doesn't hurt my eyes. Whereas if you have those really sharp ones with the checkered, they're meant to be close. They're meant to cast cinematic shadows, but they really will give you a headache if you're using them for long periods of time. So not ideal in that sense. So get good lighting. If you don't have a good light, sit in front of a window so that the window's on your face. Maybe the lighting will go up and down throughout the video, but you will at least have good lighting. The next thing is you've got to make sure that you have good sound. I have a dynamic mic because in Asia, everything is tiled floors and high ceilings, and the echo and the bounce is quite extreme. So a dynamic microphone like this, although this one's expensive, there's plenty of cheaper ones. It means it's only going to take up sound from around me here. But you can get lots of the little wireless mics these days. They won't have the full sound for this, but they are fantastic. And many of the editing softwares can remove background sound these days. But all of these mics are incredibly cheap now. So there's no excuse for not having good sound. But I would say good lighting, be it natural lighting or whatever else, and getting a good mic is going to be a good one. But then your background. Remember what I was saying about no distractions. Make it look a little bit professional. Set things up a little bit intentionally to make it look better. And then you could also change things around. So even if you're, say, sitting on your sofa, just improve the background a little bit. But if you're out and about walking, then just make sure there's no distractions, not too many things happening in the background that might draw my attention away from you. Trees and nature and stuff like that is fine. But other people and things and voices and sounds might pull people in a different direction, depending on the type of video that you're creating. So you don't want too many distractions. But the background, just make it look so it doesn't look like it's just messy. I mean, if you've got a messy bed behind you or something like that, it's not necessarily going to be showing the right type of image that you want for your business and your brand. So we can be more flexible with the content we do these days, but still think a little bit about the professional, the sort of professionalism that you want to portray for your brand. The next one is we can use presentation tools. So we can use presentation tools like I am with this iPad. I'm using an iPad, I'm recording it, and it allows me to have like a little mini whiteboard next to me that I can use. I can also record my screen, which I was also doing when I was showing you the other channels and so on. So I'm able to do both of those things. I could use paper and have another camera on it. A lot of coaches I see using these days. People have been using whiteboards for a long time. I'm not a massive fan of whiteboards because the reflection is a pain in the butt. So you would have to be more intentional with your lighting and really think about blackout curtains and stuff. But that's why people tend to use the paper instead, because then they just use paper and pens and there's no reflection on it the same way there is with a whiteboard. But these things are always great as well. And then slides. You can use slides, Canva. You can use slides for that and record your screen. So you've got many different options there. But you can use props to make your presentation feel a little bit better. And they don't have to be things that take you hours to create. I just jot down things on my iPad, or I quickly create a few slides in Canva, and I just speak to those. I don't overcomplicate it. And if I'm out and about, I just use some sticky notes to take some bullet points with me. So I don't overcomplicate these things. But in terms of presentation for what you're using inside the video to make it more interactive, then I think, slides, iPad, paper, screen, all of these things are good additions. So just try to be creative with whatever it is that you're doing. And then don't go and buy lots of things. So yes, I said get a light. Yes, I said have good sound. But don't rush out to buy new cameras and lots of other stuff. If you've got too many new things, then you have to learn too many new things. And each time you get a new thing, it causes a new problem and a new headache. We want to remove friction. So use what you have. So as I said, if you didn't have good lighting or space, go outside or sit in front of a window. Start with what you have. The only thing I would say is an absolute must really is good sound. That's the thing that you need to do now. So yes, get some stuff, but don't go out and buy a ton of things until you really get used to creating content in videos. Grow with what you have. As you get better, as I said, I'm using a webcam. I'm not using a fancy camera because the lighting did the important thing. So the lighting and the mic were the key things that I really needed to invest in, and that worked for me. And then using props will help you make yourself more comfortable. So if you're on camera and you're feeling not that comfortable, you're feeling a little bit anxious, your presentation, you haven't been able to quite relax yet, obviously moving your body more, relaxing your shoulders, breathing in before you speak, maybe speaking in the camera a little bit before you actually then start to record. So don't just press and record, start speaking, and then say, okay, let's start with the intro now. So you can take your time. But props, like I'm holding a pen, it gives me something to fiddle with. I feel more comfortable with a pen. It's why you also see lots of people holding these microphones like this and talking very much like, hey, I'm here. It creates a boundary. Yes, it means they can talk more quietly. So if you're in a noisy environment, that's also useful. But for the most part, they're holding it because it's something to do with their hands. So a lot of people are making these sort of ugly props and things. You could be using a mug, holding a cup or whatever. So use props and things to make yourself feel more comfortable. I hope you found that useful. If you did, hit the like button. As always, if you would like more training on growing your channel and business with YouTube, I will link to our free community in the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.